What would you say to Ukrainian concerns that a ceasefire would only temporarily stall the slow claims against their territory being made by the Russian people? Zelensky has talked about wanting a security guarantee of some kind, and most specifically NATO membership. Where does Hungary currently stand on security guarantees in Ukraine and possible NATO membership?
That's not a possible membership, that's an impossible membership. So it's totally impossible that Ukraine gets member of NATO. I mean, if we let Ukraine in to NATO, we basically import the war into NATO, which means Third World War. And we don't want to risk that. So, I mean, that's a no-go for us when it comes to the idea of membership of Ukraine to NATO. The battlefield reality is obvious. Russia is moving forward, Ukraine is being pushed back. So it's not that the front line would move towards the east, the front line is moving towards the west. So the sooner it ends with a ceasefire, for example, the less territories Ukraine will lose on the front.
So what security guarantees would you like to see implemented to protect Ukrainian sovereignty?
We have been living in Central Europe. We have been living in a place which was a loser of the time when the world was divided into blocks. So we know how it feels when US and Russia are not having good relations. Then we are usually losers of that situation, and we don't want to be losers anymore. So in all cases, when Russia and the US are able to build up a good relationship, it's good news for us. Then we take the benefits. So that's why I think that Ukraine, being similarly a Central European country, they can take the most advantage or profit out of a US-Russia deal.
Just a final clarification on the Ukraine topic. Is it fair to say that the Hungarian government then is sort of deferring the final details of this negotiation and ceasefire to the United States and basically saying for the White House to handle the specifics of how peace will be established?
For the last 3 years, we have been under tremendous attack in Europe, and we used to be under attack from Washington as well. Why we argue in favor of peace? Why we argue in favor of keeping the channels of communication with Russia open? Why we are not ready to say 5 times a day, Russia must lose, Ukraine must win? Why we are not ready to deliver weapons to Ukraine? Why we speak about peace instead of speaking about the continuation of the war? And now we are so happy that there's an administration here in place in Washington which has a totally same position as we do have when it comes to the war. So the most important takeaway for me from today's meeting was that I understood and I got absolutely guaranteed that the US President, the Secretary of State, and the entire administration has a very clear position that this war must come to its end. And for us Hungarians, this is the best possible news we could get.
I want to go back to something that you said just a few sentences ago about being a Central European nation and sort of the character that that geographic region has. Could you just explain maybe how you conceptualize Hungary fitting into the world of geopolitics, sitting in between these various spheres of influence?
We want the age of connectivity to come. You know, we were able to carry out a strategy which is called economic neutrality, which means that German, American, Chinese, Japanese, Korean companies do invest in Hungary as well, big time. We are building a new nuclear power plant with the Russian main contractor, applying American, French, German, Swiss subcontractors. So we think that that as a small and landlocked country, our interest is that the most possible investments are attracted to the country. And on top of that, we carry out a very patriotic kind of political strategy because we want to preserve our national identity. We want to preserve our national specificities. We are not ready to be melted in a European pot, let's put it this way. We are absolutely against a European superstate to be built up. We want to preserve our identity, our culture, our religion. We want to stick to our history. And this requires some fight nowadays in Europe where Brussels would like to build up a superstate.